Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is nourishment of body, mind, and spirit. And before we get started, we're going to take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant bright light, lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together, vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop. And allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Rosalind. So good to have you here with us this morning, and welcome to everyone else who's joining us. It's great to be here together and to be talking about nourishment. Self-care is essential. In order to be able to share the gifts that we're given to give the world, we need to take care of ourselves. And part of that, a big part of that, is nourishment. So nourishment occurs on all kinds of levels. There's food, water, sleep, mind, things to stimulate us, to cultivate our mental well-being, the stories that we tell. We talk about that a lot. The stories that we live by, and spirit, the things that nurture our heart and soul. So let's take a look at what are these body, mind, and spirit sorts of things that enrich us and enliven us and nourish us and revitalize us. So we probably have some favorite things that we do to nurture and nourish ourselves, practices perhaps, maybe routines, things like maybe making your bed, even something so simple and mundane can give you a feeling of completing sleep and starting into the day. Or maybe even things like cleaning can feel very nourishing because you're making space for something new. You're cleaning out the cobwebs, so to speak. Listening to inspirational music, for example, could be very nourishing, or just upbeat music. Dancing can be nourishing. Walking, certain foods that feel like they're just feeding your cells, or the deliciousness of something that just permeates your being. So I'm wondering, what are some things that you do to nourish yourself, and not as something that you're forcing yourself to do, not as a discipline that you're overpowering yourself to engage in, but something that you're embracing, something that you're in alignment with. I'm wondering what brings you to life. I think for some people, journaling. So gratitudes, doing gratitudes, writing gratitudes, counting the magic in your lives. Speaking to people that you love, meditating. There are so many ways that we can nourish and nurture ourselves. And it's so essential because we expend energy into the world. We express ourselves into the world. We have all kinds of things that we do, all kinds of responsibilities we take on. And we often don't replenish in a way that we don't still have a deficit. So Rosalind says meditation for sure. Meditation is what? It's sort of a concentration of energy. It's like directly connecting with that energetic source. Even with food, oftentimes we'll take supplements, for example, or we'll eat food, but we're doing it as something that we have to do rather than something that we're present to. In the nourishing, like even drinking water, maybe we drink a certain amount of water a day because we know it's good for us, but are we present to the water? What is it to be actually presencing yourself to the water that you're drinking, as you're drinking it, receiving the nourishment? And I think that this is actually a key to really, truly, deeply being nourished, is allowing ourselves to be present, the nourishment that we are embodying, or that to allow ourselves to actually embody that nourishment. Like when we maybe say affirmations, sometimes it can become just so routine, to be repeating the affirmation over and over, but we're not really present. I remember there was a period in my life where I just was struggling, and I didn't have the tools and resources that I have now. And I had certain affirmations that I would say, but I would say them with incredible desperation. Good morning, Dido. So good to have you here with us this morning. So I would repeat over and over and over, everything is perfect for my growth. Everything is perfect for my growth. I didn't really feel like it was. It was like, how could all this stuff be perfect for my growth? I don't get it. But it wasn't really being present to that awareness, opening my heart to it, believing it, and allowing myself to be deeply nourished. Good morning, Dido. Did I already say that? I'm so glad to have you here. It's wonderful to have you joining us. And Rosalind says conscious awareness. Yes. So maybe the most nourishing thing that we can do for ourselves is be aware of receiving the nourishment from our food, for example. I remember years ago, the friends introducing me to a discipline of chewing a certain number of times. What was it? Chewing your liquid and drinking your solids. So in other words, just chewing and allowing your body to absorb and receive. And so for me at that time, what I found myself doing was this as a discipline, as something I had to do, kind of, I was forcing myself to do, rather than something that I was immersing myself in, rather than something that I was allowing myself to just be conscious and sink into and relish. And so maybe the relishing is possibly the most important part of nourishing, truly nourishing ourselves, because the relishing is embodying, is allowing ourselves to truly receive, to truly experience. And it doesn't have to be something elaborate. It doesn't have to be the have to part of the whole thing is what gets dicey, right? When we do our doing rather than be present to whatever it is we're doing, we don't get to receive the richness of whatever that doing is, even if it's something like eating chocolate cake. You know, I think that eating chocolate cake, if we are really relishing it, can be incredibly nourishing, even if it has sugar, even if it has whatever is in it that might not be the most nourishing. If we allow ourselves to truly relish it, then it's most likely nourishing, is my thought about this. I just had a flash of seeing a little kid play and laugh with their high-pitched twinkling voices, and just how delightful that is, how nourishing that is to the heart, you know, to just the peals of laughter, allowing that to penetrate our being. That something that simple is so delicious, can be so delicious. And the key, maybe, you know, we're talking about relishing, we're talking about receiving, and presence. Presence is the key for all of it, right? We can be allowing nourishment at any moment. So I'm wondering, you know, what in your life do you find nourishing? So part of the reason that this conversation is coming up is that I recently went to a naturopathic doctor, because I've had all kinds of stuff going on always, really. And just some additional stuff lately, and I just wanted to address things. And one of those things was weight gain. And who doesn't struggle? You know, most of us struggle with weight gain, weight loss, whatever, you know, body stuff, weight stuff. And I said, you know, I've put on this weight and I don't know, I can't seem to get rid of it. And was totally counterintuitive. But the doctor said, you're starving, you're malnourished. And so it's gotten me to be thinking about nourishment. And so part of this process of getting nourished is to be taking a multivitamin, to be taking, you know, another magnesium supplement, and that has other vitamins, that is providing a certain level of physical nutrition to my body, as well as drinking not 64 but 96 ounces of water a day, and allowing my body to be nourished, and exercising, which I've been doing, and I find that really nourishing, not only for the physical toning and training and building of muscle, but also on a spiritual level, to be connecting with the outdoors. and to be connecting with the place where I live in a way that I don't think I ever have as long as I've lived here, which has been most of my life, on and off. So all these different dimensions of nourishment, what does it look like? So, interesting, we think, well, we have too much weight, we need to cut back, cut back, cut back. He told me that I needed to eat in the morning before I went to exercise so that my body would not feel like it was starving and it had to hold on to all its reserves. And if we look at that as a metaphor, when we are not nourished, what happens? We're kind of holding on. We're kind of in a scarcity mindset. And what he was telling me is that my body was kind of locked in this scarcity mindset, trying to preserve all of its resources. And how does that show up for us in our lives? How when we're not feeling nurtured, we're not feeling connected, we're not feeling nourished, we contract, we constrict, and we don't express ourselves in the world as much. We don't have what to give when we're not feeling nourished, right? So I'm wondering, what kinds of practices, what kinds of ways do you nourish yourself? Are there special foods that you find particularly nourishing? Are there certain practices that you do that are particularly nourishing? Are there things that you do that are routine that maybe could be a source of nourishment for you if you were to allow yourself to be more present in the practice of whatever that might be? Something as simple as being present to the gift of water when we drink it, rather than I have to down this much water, so I'm making that a to-do. So Rosalind says, tea with my feet kicked up on the recliner, reflecting on the day. Oh, Rosalind, that sounds so delicious. That sounds really, really lovely. And with your feet kicked up, reflecting on the day, receiving on so many levels. That's really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. I wonder, are there any other kinds of things? How about aromatherapy? Just smelling something delicious and that just makes you roll your eyes back and makes your shoulders just and your head and your neck just relax and release. There's so many ways that we can really nourish ourselves that can be so simple. And maybe recognizing the signals of when we need that nourishment is something that could be really helpful and powerful as well. I'm being present to the water and receiving it as I'm taking a sip here. When we need nourishment, when we're feeling depleted, oftentimes we just keep pushing, because that's what we're enculturated to do. Just keep pushing, just do it, right? Push through. And Dido says, I'm increasingly noticing how grateful I am for water. I love that, because I really believe that the water responds. There's such a wonderful book by Veda Austin called The Secret Intelligence of Water. And water is the foundation of life. Yes, we need oxygen, obviously, but we need water. We are water. And there's a richness to water that we just culturally don't have any clue about. And so being grateful for water as we receive it, as we imbibe it, as we embody it, metabolize it, and maybe drink it with gratitude, then it fills us with that gratitude, because it is, water can be encoded. That's what you'll see in that book. It's just such a phenomenal book. And if you followed the work of Emoto, that's also very much about how water can be encoded. And so with gratitude, when we drink in that gratitude, literally, there's a different experience of receiving that fluid into our body and being. It really all comes down to awareness and being present, to, in this nourishment thing, particularly to receiving. So, but what else? What else can shift? Like gratitude in and of itself is one of those things that nourishes us as we experience it. So it expresses to the world and it expresses to us. And it magnifies, it amplifies. So something just really strange happened just now, where the Restream connection just fritzed out and wants me to log in again. So I'm a little distracted just trying to get the login here. So just give me a moment's grace here while I try and pull that together and see if it'll bring us back online together. Let's see. Don't you love it when you're trying to get into something, an application online, and there's some urgency around it, and then you get these pictures that have all the boxes that you have to check to prove that you're a human. And it's just happening here with Restream. I've gone through like 5 screens already. It's crazy. Let's see, for this verification, and then it says, then it's finally giving me an invalid email or password, which I know was not invalid. Oh my heavens. Let me I think I'm just going to look and see if you guys are commenting on Facebook. And because we're almost done for today's conversation anyway. Unbelievable. User error. So I guess we're talking about nourishment. What's all that? When these things happen, I tend to think that there's meaning and there's no meaning, right? Everything is symbolic and nothing is symbolic. So when we encounter challenges in the midst of something, it's an interesting situation. Anyway, I think I'm gonna just sign off early today because we're having these challenges. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And Dido says, just looking at that book you mentioned by Veda Austin, The Secret Intelligence of Water. Dido, you would love, 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 love that book. Anyway, I thank you all. I'm so grateful and honored to be able to spend this time together, as always. And until next time, so much love to you.